Hey there YouTube, this is Heir of Carthage, of course. I don't know who else would be bringing you a video on my channel. But in any case, some of you wanted a live multiplayer commentary, so that's what I'm attempting to do now. I had to get plenty of frame rates because sometimes when you play battles, depending on people's connections, it puts the settings on on small. Like, so right now you can see there's small unit settings, which is kind of annoying because it's like I go and buy this expensive game, you know, and so it's supposed to be like the big grandeur of war, and then people's settings are so low that you have to play with this number of units, so it's kind of like the poor man's version of Shogun, so it kind of makes me angry. Only 40 men per unit, even less for Cav. So I have a retainer up here, my Shinobi Informer, sorry, I looked at the wrong one. Anyway, that's that one right there, who lets me see where my enemy is deploying. So we can go ahead and take a look at the opponent's army before we get started. He's got two Matchlock Ashigaru. And he's got a bow Ashigaru in the back. And let's see, he's got a veteran Yari Ashigaru. See, he's got a bunch of veteran sword units, so Katana Samurai, Katana Samurai, Katana Samurai, Katana Samurai, Katana Hero. And basically what I'm going to have to do to push my advantage, now you can't see if the opponent has any hidden units, but he doesn't have any hidden because I didn't see him move any into the forest. So pretty much my opponent has better infantry than me, which is pretty amazing because I've brought some pretty darn good infantry myself. I've got 5 experienced Katana units, so I mean it's going to be a bloody infantry fight. But my Yari Ashigaru on the flanks are going to be better, and then my skirmish component should be a little bit better than his as well. I don't have long to get this battle started, so I'm going to put my men into place. Now, I'm very familiar with this map, and I'm deploying because I know where my opponent's deploying. I do have a cavalry advantage that I'm going to have to push, or else I will have wasted time. So let's go ahead and move forward, and hopefully I can force my opponent to cross the river. If I capture this archery area, then I'll pretty much have unlimited archer ammunition plus improved bow traits, so I am going to move up and capture that. That'll force my opponent to cross, and when he crosses I'll try and hit his units when they're down in the creek, or the river, whatever you want to call it there. Get all my units moved up, and I do have one Matchlock Ashigaru just because I had some money left over. These guys aren't, you know, totally necessary, but you know, I'll pull them up and hopefully put them to good use. So my opponent is rushing forward, much as I expected. He's not going to want me to capture this building, but he's not going to have a whole lot of choice. And since he brought Matchlock units, my guys are going to outrange his own. He does have this one unit of bow Ashigaru that are slightly depleted, though. So they must not have been fully recovered from the previous fight that he was in. Okay, I'm now capturing the archery dojo. If my opponent lets me sit back and do this, then he's making a grave mistake, in my opinion. Of course, he is firing at me already, which must mean that he has improved range on his unit of bow. That's a trait that you can add in. So yeah, he must have gotten improved. Oh, it's a bow hero. Yeah, so they do have improved range. He's got a bow hero that's already firing, and then just a regular bow Ashigaru. So my opponent has 2 hero units, which cost him. In fact, I'm not really sure how he brought all these units to this battle because those veteran katana units are quite expensive, and then each one of the hero units cost a whole lot of money also. I am going to go ahead and get into a skirmish fight here. Don't really know if this will turn out to be a good idea or not. I'm going to keep my my melee infantry back here for now. Now he's moving these Matchlock Ashigaru units up on the flanks. And basically I'm just going to wait until they're far enough out of position, then I'm going to pound them with my Yari Cav. So they won't end up being very useful. Basically my opponent can skirmish me all he wants. All I have to do though is just back up and make him cross the river, so I'm not really too concerned about it. I'm going to fire at those bow heroes with my Matchlock Ashigaru. Because that's an expensive unit. The more of them I kill, you know, the more worth it is to me. My bows are actually firing at the wrong target right now as well. Now these Matchlock Ashigaru aren't going to last long because they're getting shot at by a lot of people, but anything I can do to tear up his bow hero unit is totally worth it. Yeah, so there goes my Matchlock Ashigaru. I'm going to now focus all my archer fire on his bow heroes. Again, you want to aim for the target of the most value. My opponent's Matchlock Ashigaru are shooting me in the flank. Again, I'm not really too concerned about it, because whether or not my opponent wins the skirmish fight, he's going to have to cross the river, because I'm just going to simply back up. I'm not going to allow him to shoot my units from across the river. So one way or another, I'm going to force him across. There, I killed another one of his bow. Yeah, I've killed quite a few of his bow guys. And my veteran archer units will stick in this fight for a pretty good while. Again, I'm still kind of confused how my opponent afforded so much of this stuff. I'm guessing it's because he didn't bring Cav. But I'm hoping to make him pay for not having brought Cav. Yeah, again, I'm not really too worried about this this skirmish fight. It's not that big a deal. A lot of people are pretty insistent upon being skirmish heavy, but you know, it doesn't really bother me. And like I said, all I got to do is just is back up to where he can't shoot me from across the river, and it pretty much is going to nullify the fact that he won that, because then when he crosses, I'm just going to bum rush him. So sometimes you got to use the terrain to your advantage to keep your opponent from gaining that advantage. So there, now I've backed up. There's not much he can do, like I said, unless he moves forward, and I can just keep backing up until he crosses the river. Like I said, and then that's the point at which I will just bum rush him with all my melee units and then get my cav behind him and take him down. So you got to know how to be patient on this game in order to give yourself the maximum advantage. My opponent is obviously playing pretty smart here, but I think that him not bringing any cavalry was probably a mistake. Yep, so you can see now that I'm well out of his range. I'm going to go ahead and move my cavalry out to the flanks, just to make sure that he's outflanked. And if he starts to fire his arrows, then again I'm just going to back up. So now we have to play the patient game here. My opponent obviously doesn't want to cross that river because he knows probably what I'm going to do, but that's pretty much too bad because I'm gonna do it. Yep, there he comes. He's crossing the river now. You can see that he's moving his Yari Ashigaru to try and protect his flanks, and now is the time for me to act, and act decisively. And I've got to move up quick. Oh wait, those are Yari Ashigaru. About to attack the wrong unit. You got to be careful what you're attacking there. See, he had a spear wall waiting on me. I'm gonna go around his spear units here and just head right up his center, because then he'll only have sword units. And this will allow me to pretty much put his army into a full-blown chaos here. I'm going to come down and hit his sword units, just really get my cavalry right in the midst of his whole army. Yeah, now you can see that my opponent's army is in a bit of chaos. So again, this is my opportunity to pounce. Get my general up here. I want to catch all of his units while they're on the downhill. I'm not sure my positioning is perfect, but it's pretty good. You can see my opponent's army is just completely pinned down. My cavalry caught them off guard. His spear units were caught out of position. So this should hopefully give me an advantage, and hopefully you're learning something. I'm going to rally my troops here, and then I'm going to inspire one of my units, just to make sure my men have the best possible morale here. I want to keep my general safe. Losing my general would be very bad. I might go ahead and cross my general across and see if I can snipe his general from behind. Like I said, though, he's got some excellent sword units, so I'm still worried about a melee fight, even though I caught him out of position. I'm going to come here and get behind his general, see if I can charge downhill and kill his general. If I kill his general, then it's going to be game over. Well, actually, his general is, yeah, right here. They're dismounted. So I'm going to charge his general from behind here with Patchy, and we'll see if Patchy can deliver a game-winning blow. I killed several of the men in that general unit, but now he's turning around to try and kill my general. So it's time for Patchy to leave. And when he turned his men around, it's going to leave all of his men open to further attack from my men. You just really want to keep your general alive. You've got to keep him alive. Losing your general is very bad indeed. I can set Patchy to fire arrows at the enemy general, which is what I'll do. You see, I think the fight is going in my favor. Like I said, just because I used the terrain positioning to my advantage. My opponent really had a very good army, but you can see that because he came cavalry weak, I made him pay for that. You gotta use your army strengths to your opponent's weaknesses. So my opponent had a skirmishing strength. You can see he's saying good game there. I should type and tell him good game. My opponent was quite good. He had a good army, like I said, but you can see that I forced him into the position that I wanted. So you got to choose where you want to fight and when you want to fight. You saw that my opponent did win the skirmishing, but I used the terrain to nullify his skirmishing advantage. So just because your opponent wins an advantage, don't necessarily fight the battle the way they want you to fight it. So yeah, just think smart and always think strategy, and you should be able to prevail. So I'll stay on here till we get the results screen. I'll show you. I'll save that. Hopefully these live battles help give you a little bit of insight. I know it won't give you any close-ups or anything, but hopefully it gives you some insight into how to think and strategize, you know, while you're playing. So I'm hoping that you got to see some of my mindset and my thinking. Let's go ahead and record the results here. Let's see how our units did. And again, sorry, it's like on the small scale units. I kind of hate that, but it just does that sometimes. But then, like I said, the nice thing was at least we'd have good smooth frame rates, which my graphics card should be providing anyway, regardless of whether it's on small scale. But I'm hoping this will be the first of maybe many live commentaries to come. You can see I just unlocked the Matchlock Warrior Monks. These guys probably cost so much that you can't use them.
However, their lengthy reload times leave them vulnerable to cavalry charges.
Alright, so that's my new unit. You can see I captured the Heathen province. You can see my XP up here. I'm pushing on 7 stars, hopefully. Here's my unit statistics. Let's see how everybody did. Patchy got 10 kills, so in small scale, that's not bad. Let's see, my Katana Samurai gained a chevron there, so that's good. Here's all my Katana Samurai. I like these guys. You can see their names there. I had a lot of veteran units in this. I had my Aim for the Groin Archers. I like those guys. One of my Yari Ashigaru, the Proud Patchies, just went to 5 chevrons, so they're going to be a nice, solid unit. My Yari Cavalry got quite a few kills also.